enjoy. Hi, welcome back to K-Rod's ASMR channel. I was listening the other night to the crickets outside my house, and I thought it would be a lovely sound to include, with a relaxing ASMR session. So tonight I wanted to go through my vinyls with you guys and see if it makes any good sounds. So I have quite a few right now, but I have a bigger collection, but I've moved around so many times during the years that some are back at home with my parents, others got lost, unfortunately, I know. And these are the ones that I have right now, right here, and I hope you guys enjoy. So I wanted to put them all here so you guys can see. Anyway, so right now I'm going to go through these. And before we start, I wanted to once again say thank you to all of you who are new. And yeah, timestamps are down below, so if you guys want to browse at your leisure. And let's start. So my first Vertigo. I really like this album. The movie director, composer, Bernard Herrmann is one of my favorite film composers of all time. I have a lot of them as well, but I think I should do something worthy of the time. Maybe I'll categorize them. Yeah, let's do that. So it's Prelude and Rooftop, Scotty Trail's Madeline, Carlota's Portrait, Carlota's The Bay, The Beach, Farewell, and The Tower. And then side B, The Nightmare and Dawn, The Past and the Girl, The Ladder, Good Night and the Park, The Necklace. Okay, so I'm going to put my film soundtracks there. Film records. This one is Stravinsky, Igor Stravinsky. He was really famous and very controversial with his Rite of Spring. That was kind of a new thing for everyone that was listening to it. He was way advanced, and as soon as people heard it, a lot of people stood up and left. They didn't like the chaos that it was, but I think it's a masterpiece, and I think with time people learn to see it as a masterpiece. I just think it represents the chaos of, you know, spring, you know, how everything has to like come out again and replant, regrow, and all of that growth is chaos within, you know. It's really nice. Actually, it's not well. This one actually is really old. My grandfather left me a lot of his vinyls. Every time I would go into his house, he would have classical music. And I think that's why I love it so much. He would take us every weekend to the movies. And every time I would get into his car, classical music everywhere, his home, everything was... I would sit next to him and tell him, what song is that? And he had his video, his cassettes, he had his vinyls. He had his whole like setup, Macintosh, and so this one has Stravinsky, The Rite of Spring. That's side one, the whole side, and the conclusion of The Rite of Spring. Yeah, this is the whole The Rite of Spring. That's him. I hope the light is okay. I wanted to go a little bit dark and set the tone for the night. I know it's not that visible. Maybe here. Oh, this one's all torn up. This one is Tchaikovsky, The Nutcracker, Suites 1 and 2, from Paris Conservatory Orchestra. Oh, these are a lot. Oh, this one doesn't have a good protection actually. Don't come at me. I have to get it a very well, a better. I have to get it a better protection. Let's put this one here. I don't want it to. The Nutcracker. I don't want it to. It's really old. Next up is Rhapsody of Fire. I don't know if you guys like this, know this. I really like the guy that sings, Luca Torelli, or like I said, oh no, this one is well protected. I just thought it was torn. So I was actually introduced to this band by my boyfriend. He really liked it, and I started to listening to it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really like. The first thing I noticed was the stories. Like, so every new song was a continuation of the last, so it was kind of like a big story, and I loved it. You know, I love storytelling. I love all of that. This one's called The Cold Embrace of Fear, a dark romantic symphony. It's really nice. I really do recommend it. I really like them. I recommend them. Okay. Next up is Tales from Topographic Ocean. I believe this one was given to me by a friend that actually have you ever just sat with someone that you really connected with or you were friends with and shared those moments of, like sharing your vinyls and sharing your tastes of music? It really is cool, and maybe I should have done a role play like that, showing my best friend my vinyls. Or let me know if you're interested. It's really cool to connect with someone at a music level. So yeah, this was definitely given to me by a friend. So yeah, this one is called Tales from Topographic Oceans. This was given to me by my friend. It's a really good one. Next up is Miles. I love Miles Davis. Miles Davis is the best. This one's called Sketches of Spain. I have another one of his that's blue and green. I think it's there. I hope it's there. This one's called Sketches of Spain, arranged and conducted by Gil Evans. Concierto de Aranjuez, Will of the Wisp, and on side 2, The Panpiper, Saeta Soler. Oh, this is my amoeba protection, which I don't know what it's doing here, but hate it that it's not there. By the way, I'm so sad that Amoeba had to close down. It was already going to close down, but in a few years. And with the pandemic, I'm so sad. That was my favorite store. Anyway. Orchestra. El Amor Brujo. Will of the Wisp from El Amor Brujo. I actually heard Miles Davis from my grandfather as well. He liked jazz too, a lot of it. And I think if I put these songs to my grandmother, she'll remember. I recommend it. Oh yeah, I was gonna categorize. So, well, we only have one film right now, which is Vertigo. I'm going to put it here. These are all like, you know, John Carpenter's Lost Themes. Whoa. Side A has Vortex. Obsidian, Fallen, Domain. Side B has Mystery, Abyss, Wrath, Purgatory, and Night. Like right now. It is late at night. So let's take a look. Oh, the master. Yes. Ooh, I think this one's cool. Black. How it looks. So John Carpenter is one of, I love him. He has made a lot of like terror or horror movies. John Carpenter has been responsible for much of the horror genre's most striking soundtrack. One of his most known are let me see. I mean, out of the top of my head. So these, of course, are film related. These go with Mr. Hitchcock. Oh, Mr. Bernard Herrmann. Let's see. Next is, so my bachelor's was filmmaking. I have a filmmaking bachelor's, and so maybe you're asking why I have a lot of film soundtracks, but The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, of course, by Ennio Morricone. I love him. Oh my god. He is one of the best composers of all time. He recently passed away, I think. He did a lot of Quentin Tarantino films as well. And way before Tarantino, like, he was the best. He is one of the best, or was one of the best composers. So, yeah. We have the you can see the side one, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The main title, The Sundown, The Strong, The Desert, The Carriage of Spirits, Marchetta, Marcia. Side 2, The Story of a Soldier, Marcia Without Hope, Marcia, The Death of a Soldier, The Ecstasy of Gold, and The Trio. Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef. This one was, wow. I think we studied this film in school a lot. It was really good. Recommended. Next we have Darius Milhaud. He is a very good composer, well, a great composer. All of these are, I believe. This one's Le Création du Monde. I don't really know a lot of his work, but I did get to listen to him through my grandfather. He enjoyed a lot of ballet orchestras or orchestrated ballets, and I've heard it once or twice, and I really enjoy it. This is really old. Of 1923, this was from 1923, stems from a very different set of eclectic sources, yet offers the same memorable combination of a classic elegance in the writing and deliberate primitivism of musical material itself. In this case, Harlem jazz, inspired firsthand. But the ballet for which this powerful music was created, one of the first classical jazz works and perhaps the best of them all, was set not in Harlem, but in primitive French Africa. It is an African creation story based on a scenario by Blaise Cendrars, with tremendously powerful stage designs and costuming by Fernand Léger. And next up we have my other favorite, one of my most favorite musicians or singers, Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald was the first great singer to honor the finest of American songwriters with such a collection. Both Ella and Cole had many attributes in common: impeccable taste, elegant style, and uncommon sense of propriety and quality that Porter himself described as special grace. Indeed, Ella's phrasing, diction, and warm, swinging way with Porter are models of their kind. That's Ella. I got this one in Amoeba for sure. Yeah. So this one has the selections all through the night. Anything goes. Miss Otis regrets. Too darn hot. In the still of the night, I get a kick out of you. Do I love you? Always true to you and my fashion. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Just one of those things. Every time we say goodbye. Oh my gosh, that one. All of you begin to begin. I don't know. Get out of town. I am in love. From this moment on, I love Paris. You do something to me. Riding high, easy to love. It's all right with me. Why can't you behave? What is this thing called love? You're the top. Love for sale. It's the lovely. Night and day. Ace in the hole. So in love. I've got you under my skin. I concentrate on you and don't fence me in. It's Ella Fitzgerald accompanied by the Buddy Bergman Orchestra. Orchestra. So yeah. She is a queen. And you have all the I really enjoy I really enjoy Ella Fitzgerald. She is one of a kind for sure. If you want to ever like listen to little stories or anything, and again, I know most of these singers, composers, songwriters because of my grandfather. So next up we have Duke Ellington's Concert of Sacred Music. Duke Ellington plays tribute in music, song and dance. Every man prays in his own language, he insists, and there is no language that God does not understand. Recorded by the Ellington Orchestra, Brock Peters, and others at the New York Fifth Avenue Presbyterian Church. Hola, Tiquita. Mama. Okay. So, yeah. Next up we have another one of my favorites, Gustav Holst. He in general is another amazing composer of that time. What was he? 1913. This is Gustav Holst, The Planets. If you guys haven't heard this, I truly recommend it. It's one of the best ever to be made of him. He did so side one of The Planets is the beginning, Mars, the bringer of war, Venus, the bringer of peace, Mercury, the winged messenger, Jupiter, the bringer of jollity. Then side two is Saturn, the bringer of old age, Uranus, the magician, and Neptune, the mystic. But no Earth. So yeah, Gustav Holst's interest in astrology came about in the spring of 1913 when he met Clifford Bax. The composer later wrote, "As a rule, I only study things that suggest music to me. Recently, the character of each planet suggested lots to me." His daughter Imogen, in the introduction to the third volume of Holst's collected works states, "He learned that Mars was headstrong, forceful, and assertive. Venus was of an even disposition, with a love of all things beautiful. Mercury, the winged messenger of the gods, was quick in thought and ingenious. Jupiter was buoyant and hopeful. Saturn was patient and enduring. Uranus was eccentric, abrupt, and unexpected. And Neptune was subtle and mysterious." The composer's original title on the manuscript read 7 Pieces for Orchestra. It's really, really interesting. I really enjoy Gustav Holst. He did a lot of other ones, but this one is The Planets. I must have another one of his. But yeah, I love the cover. A lot of movies have, used his music. I'm sure that if you hear some of it, you'll immediately recognize some. I do remember Mars being, I don't know, one day I remember I was cooking and me and my boyfriend were in the kitchen and we had, not gonna lie, we took a little hit and I was cooking and I was like do 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 do, like that Mars. Wow. It was really intense, but nonetheless really cool. Mac DeMarco, he is passing on. That's a huge difference, but